Hello, everyone. How are you today? Happy Thursday, the second to last trading day of the year. Hope everyone survived. Interesting price action this afternoon. So, welcome, William. Yep, up and down. Nice big sell off going into this afternoon. Dan, hey, what a dump. I think you're referring to the market. Hope you're not referring to this channel. And then we have the joke of the day. I don't trust stairs. They're always up to something. Very good. Put us all in a good move. Abraham, who loves the Chinese stocks, is putting in there. Again, hey, William. S&P sees double-digit returns for 3 years in a row now. Hey, Christoph, how have you been? Hope you are well. Haven't seen you for a bit. Hope you had a good holidays. And welcome back. So, again, to put this all into perspective, I want to show a couple things. I have the volume on here for a reason. I do have the volume on here for a reason because when you get these low volume, look at the volume over the past few days. See, going into the holidays, declining. If you look at the weekly, look at the weekly volume so far. We already know we have one more trading day, but it's New Year's Eve tomorrow. I don't know why they have the full market open tomorrow, but if you look here at the weekly basis and we put a line here, let's just put a line here. I just want to point something out. If I can put a line there, give me my line. Here we go. Nope, it's not letting me. All right, let me put. Is it not going to work? Oh, oops. I had the magnet on. That was silly of me. There we go. All right, let me get back. Sorry about that. I had the magnet on. So, put a line there. And go to the weekly. Let's go to, where'd my line go? There we go. Here. Boy, this is frustrating. I don't have my magnet on even. Let's see here. So, you see this line here? If I can keep it in place. Now, if we follow this to the past, look, we had, last time we were even under this line was December 23rd of, the week of December 23rd of 19. Look at this, the week of last December, here we go. December 28th, we were below that line or at that line again. So this is the kind of action you get in holiday markets. So just remember that. This is the kind of price action you get in holiday markets. Going to clean up some of these levels here. And you get low volume and you can have these massive whipsaw moves. So, but let's see who else we have here. Double bottoms played nicely. We'll take a look. Remind me, hello, Wavy. Big turnaround into the close. Yep, turn the magnet off. Thanks, Sterling. I guess my 48. No, what was the high today? What was the high? 47.99.75. We'll give you that on a rounding. We'll round Wavy. We're rounding up for you. You on the rounding basis, you got it. January could be red. Again, now this price action. Let's take a look at the shorter term price action today. Here's the dump in the afternoon, coming back down. You can see here, there's a warning sign right at the open also. You had this little mini double right up here. So it pushed up to new highs, making this, let me show you, this little mini double. This qualifies as a double top. And then selling off there, which wasn't terribly positive. We were still in bullish mode, pretty much until the dump this afternoon, but it couldn't get anywhere. It couldn't get any after this double took place, and then I just moved this area down. I was watching for a break back above about 47.94, 47.95. Could not get above it, and then we broke down. And also remember here, look, We slice through here, slice through the bottom of this horizontal channel, and now on a closing basis, we're at the last little bit. If we start going into this tomorrow, I will start watching for a bigger pullback because we have a clear path here. And there are literally no stopping points until you get down by this 25% reversal. Or harmonic, sorry. So that would be my net target. If you look at the 4 hour right, we close just into the 4 hour rotation zone, but it's flattening out. So if we start again breaking down into this area, you can see here, clear path on the 4 hour, 50 period exponential on the 4 hour right at the 25%. So that if we start breaking down tomorrow, that's going to be my major target that I'll be watching for. So keep that in mind. If now anything can happen tomorrow, being thin volume, there'll be. I'm imagining, unless there's some major breaking news out, that there'll be pretty thin volume tomorrow. So take everything with a grain of salt. But we start getting below, below about this 47.70. I'm watching for the bigger pullback. So keep that in mind with your stops. And the daily rotation zone is right in front of that 47.30 area. So then I'll be watching where these close. If it actually closes down here tomorrow in the rotation zone, we're still holding support, but I will start watching for the bigger pullback at the beginning of the new year on, what was that be, the 3rd is the first day of trading. And the first day of trading right after a weekend like this is generally thinner to begin with, and there could be also whipsaw moves. Next area below that I'm keying off is about 46.93, 46.94 to about 46.90. And you definitely don't, I doubt we'd have that kind of major move tomorrow, but again, we always have to prepare. That's my next key level that I'm watching for. Bullish mode tomorrow, it's going to take a lot to get me into bullish mode tomorrow. It's going to take me getting all the way. If I get a reversal pattern, fine. There has to be a reversal pattern. Otherwise, it would need to get back up a 47.95 to get me in bullish mode by tomorrow morning. Otherwise, I'll be watching for any bottoming pattern. But as I said, if we start getting below this 46.74 area, I'm watching for the much bigger pullback. Let's see. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. Let's get to the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ now pulling back a little more. You have you still have this flag pattern, but it's sitting right at this prior resistance becoming support area. So if that starts breaking down tomorrow, I'm watching yesterday's low for my key area. I'm watching yesterday's low. It's already closed below the 4 hour rotation zone. And I'm watching yesterday's low. If we get below that, let's just do some minor projections down. Now I need to put my magnet back on. There we go. So we start getting below yesterday's low. First little minor levels about 16,355. Then I'm really going to be watching with the rise with the 50 period exponential and a harmonic 16,319 to about 16,303. Right now we're cutting through here into this clear path move on the 4 hour. Again, when you're looking for clear paths, you do cut through the wicks. Don't worry about the wicks there. So see, you have, again, no real stopping points down here. That's why I'm also just watching yesterday's low, though, because that's a little key line in the sand. But we break down there, then I'm going for the much bigger pullback. Before somebody asks, by the way, this is not a head and shoulders we trade because downward sloping necklines are not good for our head and shoulders. So if somebody's watching this and says, is this a head and shoulder? Not ones that we trade because the probabilities drop horribly with downward. I'm just having a bad clicking day today. So let me do it on the 1 hour. It's easier to see. So you'd have a downward sloping neckline like that. So we do not, people are going to say shoulder, head, shoulder, breakdown, but a downward sloping neckline, the targets do not work out very well with it. Just wanted to put that out there. Tomorrow, bullish line in the sand is roughly the same, 16,558, unless there's some kind of bottoming pattern in the morning. Other than that, let's just see the bigger pullback levels. So the 16,319 right with the daily rotation zone to 16,303. Then I'll be watching where it closes. If we do drop, where it closes in relation to the daily rotation zone. If we close in it, then I'm watching for the bigger pullback down to the bottom, closer to the bottom of the rotation zone. So that's going to be key tomorrow. Let's take a look at the Dow. The Dow futures, you see here coming up. 36,570 was the next major level up from the harmonics, and let me hide some of this. 36,570, what was the high? 36,572, we'll call that close enough. You can see here just that spike up there, and then the pretty big reversal. No real topping pattern here. It was just some momentum bars coming up, hitting the key area, then the momentum bars coming back down. Remember, if you want to watch for some kind of momentum play, you don't want it to close below the 62.5% of the momentum bar. So if you're watching this and you see here, once this is wiped out, so momentum bar play, the warp area you don't want it to get below is the 62.5 and close below there. So then that's wiped out with those momentum bars, and you look for the complete reversal of them. Just wanted to put that out there also. Dow, bigger picture. Let me bump this up right now. Bump some of these levels up. So 4 hour, still in the rotation zone, but this is, is still technically in slightly bullish mode. But I definitely needed to get above 36,420 area tomorrow. Let's see what I'm watching for the breakdown. This one's a little trickier. Starting to roll over. It's pretty much just below this 4 hour rotation zone. We start dropping below there, about 36,250 area. Below 36,250, I'm not even watching these key little minor levels right here. We don't have a clear path until you get into the area right about 36,100. So if we start getting below 36,100, I'm watching for 36,065 area to about 36,023 for my key support. Then below there, I'd be watching about 35,900 to 35,800. I will put a line on there. Right in here, you have this prior resistance becoming support. But that means we're in the daily rotation zone. So that's what pretty much it. Tomorrow's not going to be a very bullish day unless we get a strong bottoming pattern or we recover overnight and get above my key levels. Let's see. Elon's in recession next spring or 2023 at the latest. I didn't see what he said on Twitter. I could see us seriously going into slowdown in the spring. Let's see. What else? Do you ever do technical analysis on the VIX? I just watch for when it spikes. Otherwise, I don't do a lot with it because of all the hedging used for it. It used to be more valuable for me in the past. Let's see. Can you look at Bitcoin or Ethereum chart on larger time frames? You can spot any bottoming. Sure, I'll take a look at that. Then we'll go to some stocks. So make sure you retype in your stock things. Bitcoin. See, Bitcoin's just not positive. I've not been in bullish mode. We started to get above here, but again, rollover. Could not get a break really above this key area. Little mini double top right here. Hope everybody spotted that. So this does qualify as a little mini double top. And then coming back down, because this is the move that started it. The targets are all inside it. Even if you use the aggressive targets, they're all inside the candle buys that started it. So that is done at this point, but there's no real great bottoming pattern. At all, I needed to get it above about 50,900. 50,900, but here's also what I don't like. You have the rotation zone going back. It's right now shifting back to bearish mode. So you really need a move back above that 50,900 and the rotation zone to get any hope of bullishness. And then if there was some momentum to the upside, you go into that clear path. But I'm really keying off of now. You know, we start breaking back down. We get a close below. Let's take a look at the daily. I'm going to bump this down a little. You start getting close below this 46,100. I'm watching for an even bigger pullback then. Watching for an even bigger pullback. You also get a close below that. You're into this little clear path move with a target down around this 40,950. And that would also take it below the 50-week moving average. And then we have another clear path down here. So you start getting closes on a weekly basis below about 42,900. You're into a clear path move all the way down here. So let me take off this stuff. So that's what I am watching for on a longer term basis. I'm still, there's nothing bullish for me there. Ethereum, we've still triggered this massive double top from before and not much going on. Hasn't hit the first target yet, but you see moving averages are in bearish mode. All this prior support's now becoming resistance. Has tried to break above it, but then rolling back down again. So I have nothing to the bullish side on Bitcoin or Ethereum. I can't say any cryptos because I haven't looked at a ton of them today. But Bitcoin and Ethereum do not have anything on the bullish side. Let's see what else. Let me scroll back through. We'll take a look at some of these. Baba, we had the aggressive entries triggered. Remember, double bottoms played. These aren't in play yet. These doubles aren't in play yet, at least on Baba. It came up to the rotation zone and triggered the aggressive buy entry, but the double has not even been confirmed yet. You'd need a trade above 129.45 to confirm it. You need a close above it to trigger it. Now, this was the early entry signal for it, but again, it's sitting right against the rotation zone. So that could rotate back down. So if you took an early entry on an aggressive play like that, your stop has to be right below this key low, 108.70. Robinhood. Oh, this is just a horrible mess. Horrible mess. The only thing that's too flat to really be a decent double. Finally coming down through. I haven't checked on this in a little bit, but coming through down to, should clean up this chart because I don't actually, there might be a bullish play coming up on Robinhood, but there's nothing really substantial yet because even on a rally, this area of about 20 to 2050 is very key resistance right now. So I don't have anything on Robinhood yet. See, this is why, even this aggressive we did to get close above yesterday's high, 164.90. Close was 165.34. So yeah, that was aggressive entry, but again, couldn't close in the rotation zone. And still same thing as with Baba. Until you get a trade above 171.84, It's not a confirmed double, and you need a close above there to trigger. So this is just little rallies that triggered super aggressive, uh, sort of, we call them the front run entries to those potential doubles. And with this kind of entry, your stop would have to be very tight, just below this 157.57 area. What else do we have? Are we Boeing? Nothing's really changed with Boeing. You still have the potential double. If it starts breaking back down and forms a triple, then it will be more bearish. Right now, it's just stalling out at the 50-period exponential on the daily. Okay, but nothing's really changed with Boeing. What's interesting now, if you got a rotation up and a little close above that 50-period exponential, it would also be a potential front run pattern to that double, but nothing else has changed with Boeing. Let's see. T-Doc and T-Doc. Again, we don't have a double here anymore with T-Doc. I was keeping an eye on that as a potential special play, but let's just see here. That's now a triple bottom. Weekly basis, there's just a lot of overhead resistance. An aggressive play would be about a close above about 98.50. Start getting close above there. It's an aggressive potential long, but here's the problem. You really got to manage it tightly, because you could play it, and I'd definitely be moving up a stop at 100, and then again at this 105 area, weekly rotation zone. But because this is just, you don't have a solid bottoming pattern, and on the daily it's now a triple bottom, which by a couple percentage points favor a continuation pattern on a rollover. So I wouldn't be, it would need something. And again, even on that aggressive entry there, it's just a short-term little scalpy play. It's not a long-term bottoming pattern yet. T-Mobile. T-Mobile. Look at that. Trigger double top, it looks like. Trigger double top. And this, this would be the move that started it, not this. This is just a rotation hitch. What's nice is your first target is right in front of that, so if it does find support there, but that's a triggered double top on T-Mobile. With your full, if you went with the aggressive ones, you could even do that. With this, I actually like that even better. Because this is coming in right into this support base. So I'd be using that 114 as the first target, 112.57, and then 111.14 as the targets. Now, if you're long this only, you can watch for a key support there. Let's just see with the harmonics. So I'd be really focused on the second target. Look at that, the 62.5% with the second target on the double. That's the key area I'd watch. If it closes below there, yeah, you're definitely going to be focused on this third target, and then possibly a retest of the lows. That did trigger the double. XPEV did trigger that double, was still in play. So that did trigger the double on XPEV. So your target's 51.97, 53.78, and 55.58. Those are the key levels still to the upside. So that double, I think, was still, hold on, let me just double check. Maybe not. Maybe not. No, it didn't. It's not in play anymore. Sorry about that. The double is not in play, but that is a reversal, the nice little reversal pattern with that bullish area. So let's come up with the targets. The double is not in play. The target's 49.61, which looks like it got hit today. 49.63. Next target 50.85 to 51.11. So I just go off roughly right in front of the 51 mark. And then 54 to the upside. But no double in play there anymore. Had to double check that. Your key support where you don't want it to get back below is definitely around this first area I'd be watching. You don't, if you're playing this alongside right now about 46, you don't want it to drop back below 46. That was this little resistance shelf right before this strong breakout today. NIO, yep, there's your competitive trade. You could have, that's tough to even hit. You'd have to actually have watched that on about the 1 hour, but that's horribly sloppy. Did you have a double within a double? Looks like that was a double within a double. Yeah, little double within a double. Some of these, if it just tears up, you can't. And it did close above the rotation zone, so I'd be definitely watching for these full potential targets with the declining 50. Let's see where that sits on the weekly. Now, do not ignore, if you're playing this the upside, do not ignore the second target because you're hitting smack dab into the weekly rotation zone. And just above there with this final target, you have the prior support becoming resistance area. So again, this is why you have to manage things like this very closely because this is a short-term bottoming pattern, but not necessarily a long-term bottoming pattern. So sterling, big bullish options flow on Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo, and Citibank. Sure, let's take a look. Which is Morgan Stanley. I'd get interested if it got above about this 101 level again. This was a buy right here, a super aggressive buy on December 21st. Your key line in the sand, though, playing from the long side is about this 94 area. So anything to the long side, if you get below this 200 on a closing basis, I'd be out of everything. Let's just take a look if there's any better one. Wells Fargo, that's actually Wells Fargo. If you get a close I wouldn't do it tomorrow, but on Monday above 49, it would be a aggressive long. The only trouble is you got a lot of stopping points here. You can play it, but again, your stop right below this low and the 200 on a closing basis. So any long trade you take, again, watch this key low and the 200. And if it did get a close above there on Monday, would be an aggressive buy signal. Let's just take a look. Why not? City. Now, City. Could be, you could above about 61.50 on a closing basis is a potential buy setup. 61.50, but see, your problem is you're running smack dab into the weekly rotation zone. So there's not, I wouldn't play City. City's the weakest because I'd rather see it, if it rotates back down, I'd be watching this for a potential double setup. Because you get rotates back down, you get a double setup, it drags down this weekly, and then if you got a trigger, especially if you get a larger double bottom in here, and then you get a close into that weekly rotation zone, could be a nice little play. But again, you could have a really aggressive setup. I just wouldn't touch it. There's better things to trade. Apple. Apple's now turned into a triple top with that double, which is when people said go super aggressive, and I said be careful. with super aggressive going into the holidays because the weak thing, it just pops back up in this thin markets and now looks like it's rolling over. I wouldn't be Apple if it gets below about this 172.50 area again. Then I'd start watching for the bigger pullback. Until that happens, it's just working off. Now, this is interesting though. On a weekly basis, you still have a double. So on a weekly basis, you can still watch for this double. That would be what I'd be watching for. Other than that, you have a triple top on the daily. So if you get a rotation back up and a close above, I'd even watch about this 181 area. It could be, especially going into the beginning of New Year, you could get a little bullish pop to the upside. And I'd put the reverse harmonics on here. Other than that, if you don't get that, then I'd definitely be moving up the stop at 183.96, and then 185.80 to 186.46 would be take profits and move up a stop again on any remaining shares. To the downside, here's where you get to be really careful, because if that triple does not pan out, you still have this massive double top on a weekly basis. So you trade below 167.46. You're into, and you also close below there. I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on this now, because you triggered this. You actually close in the weekly rotation zone. Your reverse target's easily within it, and then you could even come down this. You could even complete these and still close above the weekly rotation zone. So I'd be watching this again. If it starts breaking down for that bigger pullback, your first warning sign would be, though, if it gets really on a closing basis below the daily rotation zone. Uh, you're welcome, Abraham. Thank you very much, Sterling. Oh, I saw her to do all those Disney options. Just call it a couple others she had. I don't have it in front of me. I have it written down. Disney actually qualifies as a double. It's always on the chart, and it did trigger. So you're watching for 159.45, 160. I actually was setting this chart up earlier today because I'm just watching for a slight pullback. That's why I have an alarm set. This did trigger a couple days ago, but I've been watching for the pullback. And then I just saw that option thing with her today: 161.86, 163.24. And then you have the gap beyond that. So there's potentially some interesting plays, especially this keeps going up, and then you can unwind some of the position and then look to re-enter it on rotation zone pullbacks. And look, you could still, you're in the weekly rotation zone. So if this does close tomorrow within the weekly rotation zone, it's a move into a clear path with the top of the weekly rotation zone, and you have that double target there. So that's definitely a great play. So that's the Disney. Then I'm actually watching this on a slight pullback. I'd actually like it to see it close still up here tomorrow, trigger that weekly pattern, then give me a slight little pullback. We got the first cross the rotation zone, and then a nice rotation back up, and that's could be fantastic play to start the year. And didn't they just drop Boba Fett? Hey, Andre, thank you very much for this. No, we want the Bitcoin. I'll go jump back over there in case I missed something. Head and shoulders on the daily. Head and shoulders on the daily. You mean this huge thing? Head being up here, shoulder, shoulder? No. And I'll show you why. It's not just because it's very sloppy. So there you have that. And it hasn't broken the neckline yet, but it would literally, you have to have your targets, your first and second target within there. So, I mean, see where I'd have to go out by the time I got the first and second target in there, we wouldn't be triggering this till April, but it would no longer be a Head and Shoulders because of this. Because let me just take another look at that. Hold on. Oh, just double check. Let's just say it was going to trigger here. See this, let's just say it was going to trigger in the next few days. Here's your first target. Here's the move that started it. And only your first target falls in there. Okay? So that's why it's not a head and shoulder. You can't use this. What I would just do your with that kind of thing, because and it's sloppy to begin with. Essentially, if you want to watch, you get below this key low, which is the defining point of the neckline, this right here. You get below that, I start breaking down and targeting these that first target anyways is this key support area. So longer term, you have that support area, but your shorter terms, you know, you have this 30 these levels we put on in the last analysis. So that's why I just trade this through these key levels. You don't worry about the head and shoulders pattern because it's not valid. And if somebody says this is, they don't know what they're talking about because your targets don't. It's a reversal pattern. But that doesn't mean you can't go lower if we break this 42,333 low. That's going to be key because you'll get a lot of ramped up selling in there. Does everybody understand that? It's just like that double, how it has to reverse. Like this double top right here that triggered, reversed this move going up. So that was a completely valid. But also remember, this is why you take your profits off at the full targets. Because look at this, even with those aggressive targets. Look, remember this? Spike through there, and then look how well that final target held. It's still holding from that double, which is why you don't push doubles beyond the targets. You're better to take your full profits off and then watch for, all right, if it breaks down here, you can watch for lower price action and just use rotation trades going down or any other short trade you might have. I'm not seeing anything else. I think I covered it. Oh, wait, there's something. If you're Christoph, we'll get, you haven't been in here for a while. You want the good old, you want the second front run, I think you said? Coffee. This is sort of interesting. I have not looked at coffee in a long time. You actually have a double within a double. So your double top's already triggered. Where's your weekly? See, and ooh, this is, you're going against the weekly rotation zone, but that's pretty interesting. If you start breaking down, again, it's pausing right here. The only thing that would invalidate this really would be this double within a double, which is sort of nice because you can lower your stop. So if you're already short coffee, you could now lower your stop. And if this little mini double bottom triggers, you're out of the big double top. You take a quick little loss, and it's not a big loss. But if that doesn't trigger, you're still short. You have the first cross the rotation zone, and once you break back below this 223 area, you have 219, 214, 209. So that's actually a nice pattern. And anytime you get to really aggressively move down a stop because there's another pattern technically in play, it's great. Even if this stops you out, you're at a very reduced risk. So I don't mind that ever happening because hitting stops are a nature of trading and investing. You can't have 100% winners, but the thing is, you want to limit your losses, and this kind of thing can potentially limit your losses greatly. And then you could even flip it to go long here and run it back up, which would take it to the most recent high area. So you could stop out of your short and flip to long and still uh, take advantage of it, because again, on the weekly, you're in the that would just be a pullback into the weekly rotation zone and then a rotation back up. But if you're playing this to the short side, really focus on this second target, this 214 target area, this 214.35, because that's right in front of the weekly rotation, bottom of the weekly rotation zone. So, all right, with that, I think we'll call it a day, 15 minutes until Tesla time. So, hope everyone has a great day. By the way, there will not be a market overview tomorrow. I'm going to do it Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. Central Time. And I'm doing Tesla at 3:30 Central Time tomorrow, because I like to start New Year's Eve. Not that I'm doing anything or going anywhere, but I like to relax with a nice adult beverage earlier than not. We're very welcome, Christoph. I hope you saw how we could tie those patterns together and use it as a stop level, and then if it doesn't stop, you still get the short position. Thanks, Jake. I hope to see everybody who follows Tesla in the Tesla live stream in a few minutes. And then if you can join me on Sunday for market overview to prepare for the first trading day of 2022. Talk to everyone later. Bye for now.